Hello, hello, everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever the heck you guys are tuning in from. We are back with another episode. It's your boy Idris again in the house, and joining me today is Vicente. Quick context: we literally just met last week.
Yes.
It was crazy because we met at a social chess event, something that I've been going to a lot since I've been back in Malaysia. Vicente was literally there for like what? You were there for 3 days or 4 days or something?
May
Like
1 to May 4. So yes, about 3 days.
yeah, yeah, and you were there for your friend's wedding, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and yeah, we just started talking. We hit it off, and then and Vicente has like loads of like cool stories and what he does during the day, but also what he does creatively is like very interesting as well. How about I pass it off to you to take it away and give an intro to yourself, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, sure. So, hi everyone, I'm Vicente. My friends call me V, so you can just call me V. They say it's like V for Vendetta, so it's easier to remember if you know the reference.
Yeah.
So, I'm a school teacher by day, private tutor in the evening, but also I'm a magician.
Ooh.
So, my philosophy in life is to get people to be more curious about life because at
Yeah.
the time when I thought like everything was solved, a
Mm.
friend of mine showed me a magic trick. And after
Mm.
showing that magic to me, I was like so curious of how it was done. And when
Mm.
I
Mm.
found out how it was done, I was even more intrigued and I was more
Mm.
impressed with like the thinking behind how it's done. And it shaped
Mm.
my philosophy of learning, wanting to know more about life. So whenever I teach and perform magic, I want to
Damn.
encourage people to tell them that there's actually much more to life. And
Yeah.
I hope that they can be curious enough to go and experience those, even though you go through the day to day, but
Yeah.
still break that shell, go and be curious, go find out, break away
I
from the
love that.
mundane.
I love that, dude. That is strong. That is super strong, man. And I appreciate you just like starting off with a bang. What I'm curious about is you're a school teacher, and what exactly do you teach in school? Like, what kind of subjects do you teach, and also like what age group do you teach to as well?
So I teach from grade 5 to grade 10. I teach English
Okay.
and I teach all the humanities subject for that school. For
Damn.
some reason, I'm teaching all the humanities subject. Right, I
Yeah.
took up the challenge because like they needed a teacher and like it was quite a small school, so I said, okay, sure, why not? Even
Yeah.
though like those are not my strengths, but they needed the manpower. My actual love
Wow.
for teaching is actually math and sciences.
Mm.
Yeah, and I do train people from primary school all the way to university. Sometimes I do train students for Chem Olympiads, Math Olympiad.
Oh wow.
Yes,
Okay.
science and math is something that I appreciate when I was young. I used to also compete. And I want
Yeah.
to share people about what's it like learning science from base principles without having all those like fluff that sometimes like schools teach like okay this is level 1
For
but
sure.
sometimes you don't need the level 1, you want to know
Yeah.
why this concept is taught, so
Yes.
it's
True.
that why that shapes all the knowledge and that would get people interested.
How did teaching find you? What was the moment that you were like, okay, I want to teach in a school?
Actually, for me, it's not really to teach in the school. And my dream is to hopefully build my own school someday. And it's not
Nice. Yeah.
really the traditional education system where like, oh, you segregate every subject, but actually have your own learning from like let's say masters. Because
Yeah.
if you think about learning in a sense, right, you don't learn in the past when you learn, you don't learn math, you don't learn language, you learn from someone else and you apprentice under
Mm,
someone else. It's just that
mm,
with today's education system, we
mm.
need workers, we need the economy to. So that's why we have
Yeah.
schools, so they train you to be valuable workers to society.
Mm,
To answer your question on what got me into teaching, when I was younger, I'm usually the
mm.
one teaching my friends about the sciences when they struggle, math.
Okay.
And they like asking me because one, it's free, and two, I can explain properly.
Yeah. You break
Yeah,
it down
and
complex into like simpler concepts. Yeah.
yeah, and like I realized I had the skill, so I just like went along with it. I used to
Yeah.
be in IT, but the reason why I
Oh.
branched out into teaching was because I thought that what I used to work in the consultancy, they pay me
Mm,
a certain
mm.
amount. I thought that I can actually earn more than the amount they pay. So I quit, went to an international school because it allows me some flexibility. Then after
Yes.
school hours, I can teach privately, and the school allows it.
Nice.
Just a
Okay.
disclaimer, it's not a Singapore MOE school because I'm not allowed to do that. It's MOE school. So that's why it's fine.
Like, are you currently earning more than your consultancy gig
I
previously?
managed to times two. This year, I managed to complete it times
Let's
two.
go.
And that's in 2 years.
Wow. Dude. And and with extra of flexibility as well.
And there's also
Sheesh.
flexibility because like sometimes like when I teach, I can tell my
Yeah.
students, okay, can we not have classes on this days? And that's when like if people ask and come, I need you to perform, to be a magician, perform there.
Yes. Dude, that's so interesting. What the heck?
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Mm.
Sorry.
Actually, there's also this other strategy because, like, over the past 2 years, I tend to realize that during the June and December, that's when the
Mm.
holiday period comes. Not much student
Yes.
wants to study,
Yeah.
but those period is when people want to hire entertainers. So when the tuition goes down, magic goes up. So
My
it's like
God,
it's a match made
bro,
in heaven.
you're playing chess with life right now, bro. Honestly, like your whole blueprint. That's crazy. What I'm interested is like, how did magic find you? Like, what was the story behind that?
My first encounter was in grade two. My
Mm,
friend showed me a trick. I didn't
mm,
understand like how it happened, but I didn't get the.
mm,
I found out the secret, but I just left it at that. But then when
mm,
I came to Singapore and I went back to
mm,
Philippines, one of my friend
mm,
got interested with magic. He showed me
mm.
magic, and then he showed me the secret behind it, and that's when I started
Okay.
getting interested. Then
Damn.
then
Okay.
I joined like talent shows in school, and then I tried to start a magic club in my university, and
Yeah.
then I somehow stopped in between. But like I think 2 years ago, I managed to meet a coach and found out that actually one of the incompletions in life was like I never get to live my life as a magician. So it's just
Mm.
me continuing that dream that I stopped 10 years ago.
Do you have like a list of like magicians that you look up to? Like, I don't know, David Blaine or whatever, those type of guys, or not really?
I do have a list. I think like the one that really impressed me back when I first started out was Shin Lim.
Jin Lim. Okay.
Yeah, then newer ones as I start to like get to know more magicians here.
Yeah.
I love Patrick Kun. Actually, incidentally, he was the magician I went to see in Malaysia when I visited on the
Okay.
first that magic show.
Okay. Yeah.
Then there's also Jeremy Tan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's this Australian magician that I managed to meet by chance. Benedict.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Sounds like you managed to like see and meet a lot of the people that you looked up to. How was that feeling like when you look up to these people and then eventually you're in the same room as them, watching them face to face, them performing their own acts? How's that like?
Well, some of them didn't get to perform their own acts, but
Okay.
some of them were I get to meet through magic lectures. So they
Okay.
share like what it's like being like, for example, for Jeremy, he shared about being a cruise ship magician and how to get started in social media. And
Yeah.
I realized like he's very magnanimous. He shares quite openly, and he wants
Mm.
magicians here to succeed.
Mm, mm,
And I feel like he was quite genuine. And it feels
mm,
really nice. For Patrick, it was his performance. He got kind of busy. I got the chance to
mm.
meet him and got him to sign something. But
Nice.
you can tell that from his performance that after the performance, as a magician, also I understand you can get really tired interacting with a huge
Ah,
audience. So we didn't
right.
get the chance to
Right.
interact as much, but I think the great thing is like I got to meet him, I got to talk to him. Actually, I purchased some of his like magic tricks on his that he sells online. And his tricks
Yeah.
are like like classic magic tricks. He
Like
remodifies them and makes it more modern.
when you say classic ones, like I feel like I might have known, but like I might have seen them, but I don't know what do I call them, if that makes sense. Like, is it like
So
those?
there's this thing about the haunted deck. So it's a deck
Okay.
where like you ask someone like magic in magic we have this specific things called like effects.
Okay.
And this effect is called the haunted deck effect. So
Okay.
it's like you ask someone to choose a deck, choose a card from
Yeah.
a deck. Someone chooses it, you return it. But what happens is like the cards won't find it. It's haunted because
Mm.
the cards would move by itself and then it will come out and that's your card. So the deck is the
Mm.
one finding the card for you. And he has a more original spin to it. And let's just say that the way he does it is like very amazing.
Mm. Okay.
And you would take like probably like years of practice just to get it. But you get to see his thinking, the way he
Yeah.
approaches the magic and what kind of
Mm.
magic he wants to showcase. And actually
Mm.
what he wants to showcase is something that I want to showcase to people as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So what kind of magic do you tend to showcase to people? Like, is it more in the lines of like what you showed Manny and I when we
Yes.
saw you last time? Okay.
So I like close up. I like to use objects that people use every day,
Yeah.
objects people are familiar with. I like it when
Yeah.
people give me something, say, okay, perform magic with this, and they get mind blown.
Yeah.
So Patrick is very good with those kind of magic as well.
Right.
And the way he
Right.
approaches it is like something that I want. So,
By the way, guys, just for context, when like we have a friend Manny, and so Manny, it was me, Manny, and Vicente. And Manny was like, "Oh, like you're a magician. Like, how about you show us some tricks?" Vicente was like, "Okay, I'll show you this. I'm working on this." Took out this like Rubik's cube, and then he just like I just did something. He flipped it, and then he just like. No, he mixed it first and he flipped it around and then it just like solved. I'm like, what the heck? It was crazy. And then he did some more tricks and I was like, this is crazy. Like you move the dot around. I'm like, wow, it was so mind blown, bro. Like, not only was I mind blown from chess, but I was also extra mind blown from your magic. That was like honestly such a highlight of my day, bro. That was crazy. But what I'm interested in is there's like so many like moving parts to like magic. I assume there's like maybe the performance side of it, the storytelling, the I don't know sleight of hand, and even the crowd interaction. Like, where would
mm,
you say is your first love?
honestly, as a magician, my
Mm,
weakest area is sleight of hand,
mm,
surprisingly. But
mm,
for if you want to be good in magic, what they say
mm.
is it's about building the connection with the audience. So if you're
Yeah.
able to perform, even though if you perform something mind blowing,
Mm,
every magician can perform something mind blowing. It's
mm.
whether like you can relate with them and make it something meaningful in their life.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
actually, in that 1 week wherein we talked about, I actually found a good presentation for the Rubik's cube trick.
Oh, really?
I tell them that like like you managed to use your imagination to solve the Rubik's cube, right?
Right.
So I tell people nowadays that AI is taking all our jobs, but
Yeah.
AI, the only thing that AI can't beat is the power of the human mind.
Yeah.
And we can
Yeah.
prove it through solving this Rubik's Cube. And if you're able to solve this Rubik's Cube with your imagination, congratulations. You are more powerful than an AI.
Yeah.
And there's
Yeah.
still hope.
So that's how.
Yeah, so it's always like a continuous process of discovery. So whenever
Yeah.
I told you it was a trick that I'm really working on.
Yes.
And I'm still trying to find the right way to present it. The more I present it to people, the more I find ways to present it such that people will appreciate it better.
Is it like during the moment when you're trying out a different angle, you're just assessing the signals that people respond to, and then that informs the way that you are crafting your pitch or whatever, like or your presentation
Yeah,
during that?
yeah.
Okay.
Even the dot trick, even the one with
Yes.
the dots, right? The dots tricks I
Yeah.
showed you.
Yeah.
That one I started doing back in university, and
Mm.
I've made a lot of changes along the way until it reached that level, so I can get the maximum reaction from people. Then it's always like adding
Okay.
on new things such that like people will appreciate better or people will have more reactions to it or people like how is that possible? And
Yeah.
sometimes the audience gives very good ideas on how you can make it even more amazing for them. This is a
Yeah.
question that they always ask at the trick. Then okay, how would I show it such that that would be possible? And then you make
Yeah.
it possible.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Yeah, I don't know, dude. Like you're such a wizard, bro. Like so that's why I'm like this guy is this nuts. Not only is he good in chess, but he's also good in magic. I'm like, dude, what a cheat code, bro. Oh my gosh.
The reason why I'm
But
good in chess is because like, your queen suddenly disappears halfway. Not just kidding.
where did it go? That's so good. I'm curious. Like, what would you say is your what do you think is your comparative advantage in magic among other magicians?
That's actually a hard question. I would say it's more towards presentation.
Okay,
Because
nice.
most magicians, when you perform to other magicians, they always show you the coolest sleight of hand, the most impossible thing you can do. But
Yeah,
sometimes, like you just like show the trick and that's it. Wow, it looks amazing. But then if you
yeah.
can't tell a story along with the trick,
Mm.
then you're not able to create that connection with the audience. When you watch a movie, right, it's not about like, oh, let's say for example you watch Avengers, right?
Yeah, yeah,
People
yeah.
like Avengers not because of like Iron Man and all those like fancy Marvel characters. It's because the reason why Marvel became popular is because it resonated with a lot of people
Yes.
and people love the story. And I think Robert Downey Jr. did a good, amazing job connecting with the audience. That's why it became as popular as it is right now.
Basically pre phase four, put it that way.
I was like so sad because like I'm a DC fanboy, and then
Right. Okay.
like when I watch Iron Man, it's like, oh my gosh, they did a really good job. This is what DC was back in the days. And then like
True.
suddenly everyone loves Marvel.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But then now that James Gunn's like, I think he's CEO of Multiverse or whatever it's called. Like, I'm not sure, but like, Superman came out like last year. I enjoyed it. Did you?
I haven't watched it. I haven't. Okay, I've been so busy. I haven't been really keeping track of all the movies out there. What was the last movie?
Damn.
I can't remember, man. I mean, like, after I went into this teaching job, it's just like
Yeah.
9 to 9 every day, just like trying to make things
Okay.
work.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. In terms when you say like 9 to 9 every day, like trying to make things work, like I guess for those audiences, those people in the audience who don't really know what goes into becoming a teacher, like can you talk us through what exactly is involved? Like how much of the time is like spent in terms of, I don't know, marking homework to preparing for the next class or teaching as well? Like, yeah, I'm very curious about that.
Okay, for the school, actually, the hardest part is not just like marking homework. It's preparing for
Okay.
classes. Plus,
Yeah.
you need the admin work of updating, like, okay, what should be taught next? Is it on
Yeah.
track? Emailing the
Yeah.
parents, telling the school, like, if someone caused issue in the school, then you have to report to the school and like find out like, okay, how do we manage this student who would cause trouble? It's a lot of like
Yeah.
admin and reporting, especially in Singapore. Like, you need to
Right.
report a lot of things. And in order to, let's say, maintain certain statuses for the school, you need to make sure
Yeah.
everything is documented properly. And usually it's the teachers
Damn.
who handle all those admin work, not just like teaching the students. And
Yeah.
sometimes when students come to you, it's not just about the grades, you know? It's sometimes like
Yeah.
they're going through a hard time in life and like you need,
Or
as a teacher
puberty.
and as an adult, you want to find a way to support them. So beyond
Yes.
all those teaching, you
Yeah.
have to do that. But on top of the international school, that's why I say 9 to 9, right? So
Yes.
I work in the school from 10 to 2:40. After
Right.
2:40, I also have my own private classes.
Yes.
Sometimes like I need to go and find people who are willing to engage my services. When I started out, it was really, really tough. But
Yeah.
then once
Yeah.
I found one, everything spreads through word of mouth. And
Right. Right. Right.
yeah, actually, like my first student was like he was undergoing like some sort of like crisis. Like it was
Mm.
only like 1 month left before his O levels,
Oh
and he was
shit.
scoring like F9. That's like below 40%.
Oh, he's like failing basically.
Really failing, and he didn't know what to
Oh
do.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then like I managed to, and he was like when I met him, he was like panicking. He looked at the chemical equations. He doesn't understand what it is. He thinks it's like alien language. So
Mm, mm.
I had to like, okay, dude, calm down. Firstly,
Yeah.
calm down. The
Yeah.
reason why you're so lost is because you don't have a strategy in studying,
Yes.
and you don't know what you're studying. So
Mm.
let's get things in order. You're gonna have your final exam for the school in 1 week. So it's like, so this is what we're gonna do. You're not gonna be able to understand everything, but here's the
Yeah.
strategy. These are all the
Yeah.
topics. There
Yeah.
are some topics you need to memorize, some topics you need to
Yes.
understand. So
Okay.
I divided to him like what you need to understand, what you need to memorize. So at least he
Yeah.
knows, okay, this is what happens. Then like you
Yeah.
do some practice.
Yeah.
1 week later when he took his test, he has a clearer way to study. So he managed to
Mm.
improve his grade by one. So from
Okay.
F9 to E8. That's
Okay.
like 40 to 50%. Then one
Okay.
month
Okay.
left to prepare for the O levels. And
Yeah.
that's when I really told him like for each topic, how do you understand? How should you
Mm.
understand? And this one, memorize and how to apply what you have memorized. So we worked on that for like
Okay.
1 month. And when he finally understood and it clicked for him, you can say like, oh my gosh, I can finally understand. It's not like alien language anymore.
Yeah.
And when he got back his O levels, F9 to A2.
Dude, that's amazing. What the
Yeah,
heck?
and I've always been very proud of him. Credits for him for all the hard work he put in.
Yes. Yeah.
But still, I think sometimes that you just need someone to who already knows the subject to tell you, okay, dude, what you're doing is not helpful. I'll help
Mm.
you tell you what's the best way to do it so you can achieve. Go and put in the effort so that you can achieve.
Wow. But I assume I don't know if you teach like 1 to 1 or maybe like one to a select few, but like how do everyone has different learning styles, right? So and I
Yeah.
guess it requires a certain level of time investment from your side to actually understand what they've been doing currently, how they have been studying, and then for you to actually suggest that specific type of strategy that works for them. Like that really must take up a lot of time then.
Actually, sometimes like you would only know once you meet the student and like you suggest something on the spot.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes even the best teacher, the best person who teaches you something, if the student
Yeah.
is not willing to learn, anything you teach them,
True.
nothing goes in. But
True.
some students like you need to know what strategy would work for them. Sometimes it takes a
Yeah.
few trial and error.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there are certain students that okay, this is the way to motivate them. I know when they're ready, and when they're
Mm.
ready, I can be committed to be able to help them achieve.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, it's different from people to people. Normally, I don't teach large classes. I do
Yeah.
keep a cap of like five. Then within that session, like you would know, okay, what are this? Sometimes like you can tell straight away. Like the issue here is like the parents just forced him to come here and he doesn't have interest, and you
Yes.
have to let
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
parent know. Then it's up to the parent to work with me on a strategy so that he can succeed or readjust the expectations. And some
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
they come to me because I really want to do well. I want to get into medicine, or like I want to be able to get to a higher band in school. Then we find
Yeah.
strategies to work with that.
Yeah. Okay. But then this then brings up the question like, how do you balance your time teaching with magic as well? How does that look like?
Oh, yeah. Honestly, when I say 9 to 9, right? You know, like in
Yeah.
Chinese, they have 995, 99, no, 996, right?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
For me, it's 997. But
Every
honestly, like,
day, 9 to 9.
yeah, more or less. Okay, usually my Sunday is the break, but sometimes, like, my students, like, take up my Sundays.
Yeah.
I also do, like, some community stuff as well.
Mm.
I host my
Mm.
own co-working, and sometimes, like, when I don't have the co-working event, I do magic. And
Yeah.
sometimes I can be flexible. Like, hey, do you wanna, like, is it okay if I shift my class to this time and I put my magic here? And they say, ah, okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
come down and watch if you want to. And sometimes, like, some of my students also come down and, like, hey,
Yeah.
that's my teacher. It's so cool. Then it motivates them because, like, they
Yeah.
see their teacher performing.
Yeah.
But then the question of juggling, honestly, sometimes it's just better to stop asking like how am I gonna do that and just get the work done.
Okay. Yeah.
The more you think about it, you realize you waste a lot of energy and time just thinking and thinking and thinking.
True. Yeah.
Then like you probably spent like 1 year just thinking about it instead of just doing it.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's
What's the
where
word? Is
sorry.
that analysis? It's like analysis paralysis or something, right?
Yeah. It's kind of similar to that. But it used to be way worse for me.
Mm.
But now I just like, okay, I don't have the luxury of time. I'm almost
Right.
teaching every day. So when I
Yeah.
need to do something, just do. If not, nothing's gonna progress. And I'm not gonna do justice for my students.
So it sounds like you're fitting magic into your schedule rather than you are adjusting your schedule to fit in magic.
Okay, honestly, man, I feel that whatever happens in my life, somehow it
Yeah.
just works out. Really, really. Like when sometimes like suddenly I have like this free slot, no student wants the students don't want classes. Suddenly I have a
Yeah.
gig out of nowhere. Or sometimes like when I don't have a gig, the parents say
Yeah.
like, "Oh, I heard that you are good at teaching this. Can you
Yeah.
please help my son or daughter to succeed in your studies or like help him succeed in this competition? I want
Yeah.
you to be the teacher."
Wow. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So when you perform magic, is it like in a show, in a gig, or how does it look like?
Sometimes I do roam around the streets of Singapore and just like, hey, wanna see something fun?
Okay.
Sometimes I
Nice.
get hired by event organizers to perform for their events on stage. Sometimes parents contact me to, hey, my son is having a birthday party. Why don't you come here and perform some magic?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Or some companies D&D. Hey, I need the magician to entertain my guests. Can you just like perform, come here, perform some magic, make it have fun? So it's very ad hoc. I mean, like being a
Yeah.
magician, the income is not as stable
Yes.
unless like you really. It's very seasonal.
Mm.
Unless you
Mm.
have like some sort of like retainer fees,
Mm.
but yeah, it's not as common.
Mm. And it's when you mention about like people coming to you, is it sounds like you're getting a lot of like inbound, I guess, inbound requests. How are they finding you, especially the event organizers or the companies, particularly? Are they seeing your work from social media, for example? Is that the main way that you were able to like, raise your own brand awareness?
Actually, if you look at my social media, I don't have much magic videos.
Yeah.
So, okay. So when I started like 2 years back, I didn't have much classes. So what I did instead is I go for networking events. And during the
Mm,
networking
mm.
events, just what I do to you, I show you some
Yeah.
magic. And then like some of them happen to be event organizers. Hey, I want you in my
Ah,
child's birthday party. Or hey, I want you
yeah.
for this event.
Yeah.
Hired on the spot.
Okay.
So
Nice.
but now I don't do much networking. Sometimes
Mm,
it's like they do the networking for me, just word of mouth, and it spreads. Or like
mm,
I know this friend who's a magician, then like just like refer to him. Like go, I want him for my event.
mm.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So you've already done the hard work and putting yourself out there. So you basically have a active mechanism that does the work for you. Like you don't even have to think about it. Then suddenly you'll just get text about it. Like, oh, by the way, are you free for this? Are you free for that? And then it just works out.
I think magic is not as strong. It's the tuition that's
Mm.
stronger. But at least like I have sufficient that people know, hey, I'm the magician. If I need him for gigs,
Yes.
I know who to contact.
Okay. Okay. Got you.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. What I'm interested about in particularly, and this is something I ask all my guests a lot, is
Hmm.
what would you say is a transferable learning that you've taken from teaching and also from magic, and how have you applied each to one another?
Okay, teaching is about connecting with the students to teach them something new.
Mm,
What I
mm.
use magic is sometimes like when students are not interested in a topic, I show them a magic trick.
Really? That's so
Remember,
good.
remember the dots trick? I tell
Yes.
them like, what is 6 minus 1? 5.
Yes.
No, it's
Yeah.
4. And then it builds on their curiosity. They want to find out more, and they go and Google and then say, okay, there's more to life. So go and learn as much as you can. Even the things I
Yeah.
don't teach you, you can go and figure it out. Because
Yeah.
learning doesn't stop in the classroom.
Yeah.
Learning is
True.
every chance you take. And whether you
Mm,
want to know or you choose to not know, it's on you.
true.
And whether you want to know, there will always come a time that you will find out if you really want to put your heart and soul to finding out.
Mm,
Then for magic, because I work with children, I work with people, it makes it easier to connect with them.
mm,
So when I perform my magic, it's not just like something mind blowing, but at least like I tell a story that is relevant to you. Or at least like
mm.
through my magic, you get to know a bit about me.
That makes sense because when you were presenting your tricks you showcasing your magic to Manny and I, it was like, yeah, you were narrating some parts of your life, your story, whilst you were doing what you were doing. I was like, okay, I see the flow, I see the vision. Like, I like that, the presentation.
Yeah, actually, like now that you mentioned it, like there were other magicians that I look up to that also shares about their story, like who shares about themselves when they show their magic. There's actually
Mm,
another one I look up to that I haven't met yet.
mm.
He's a crazy cool guy. His name is Matt Franco. He's one of
Okay.
the winners for America's Got Talent,
Right,
and
right.
the way he does magic is like sometimes like I can't even believe it. Like
Mm,
he always tells you, okay, magicians, you know about the magician's palm, right? He
yeah.
will show you that he palms a card, but it's an invisible palm. Then like he will just drop a card out of nowhere.
Right,
But
right,
he
right.
tells his life story about it because like when he went to AGT for the first time,
Mm,
he performed like something that's very difficult. If he failed,
mm,
he's gonna be gone. But if he
mm.
succeeds, he
It'll be
will
like
really just make it. And he just took the risk and then like went all out. And now
nice.
he's headlining Las Vegas.
Wow.
And you can
That's
see
huge.
his posts on social media. It's the things he do is like it's different from what he does from AGT now. And you can see how he elevates his magic to another level. And people copy him.
He's like an inspiration to people now, basically. Is there a particular show or stage that you would like to perform in? Maybe Asia's Got Talent or something?
Honestly, I'm not really sure. My goal in
Yeah.
magic is not really to go into Penn and Teller.
Mm,
I did want to. I was thinking like if ever every magician's dream is to perform at Las Vegas. But I still haven't really figured out if that dream was for me or not. Because like I
mm.
think my priority in life is I want to build my own school, the one that I was sharing about. The one
Yes.
where I want people to learn from base principles. There's no such
Mm,
thing as science, there's no such thing as math. It's all
mm,
about pure learning.
mm, mm,
And
mm,
what
mm, mm.
does learning from base principles look like without
Mm,
the structure of like okay, sometimes what's nonsensical to me is like okay, primary 1 you learn numbers, you count until 1000, then primary
yeah.
2 you count until 10,000,
Yeah, yeah,
100,000.
yeah.
I mean like
Yeah.
it's commonsensical to get to the next level. You don't have to wait until you're P6 to know all the way until the end,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly.
And if the students can handle that, why not?
Yeah.
Then you can just move on to the harder topics and help supplement them to learn the harder topics. And
Yeah.
if they're not
True.
interested, they can move on to another topic and wait until they get interested in it, come back and learn.
Mm.
Because I mean like if you learn things later in life, it's not gonna cost you anything. Only regret. But by then you have
And
the motivation to learn and you can learn much faster and much better.
correct, correct. And I guess like when you learn something later in life, it's kind of like you'll probably feel extra motivated because you lost that time that you could have spent had you picked it up earlier. At least that's how I see it when I'm learning something new. I'm like, especially
Mm.
like, for example, during COVID, right?
Ah.
There are so like obviously COVID is like, there's nothing much to do. But then, those who started doing more TikTok dances, now they're blown up, and now they're actually like, they for that's an example, right? So it's just kind of like when I think back to like to the time that I was doing. I mean, I was still in uni around that time, but even
Mm-mm.
then, when I think about it, it's like, oh, there was some things that I wanted to pick up or learn. I was learning the guitar. It was quite hard for me, but like at the same time, if I had continued, then maybe I could have played the guitar better now, 6 years later. I don't know.
See.
Yeah, but then again, I think it goes back to your point about the motivations. Like, okay, how much do I really want it, and what steps would I take to ensure that I will continue doing it?
I think on top of the motivation, there's also discipline because like
Mm.
if okay, sometimes there's a natural pause to learning,
Yes.
but there's also
Yes.
like the discipline in learning. Even though when
Mm.
you're not motivated, why would you still want to continue learning it? The why is the most important one. Why do I want to learn
Mm.
this? I mean,
Mm.
like when you were in when you were in secondary school, why would I need to learn the quadratic equation? It's just useless. I won't even use this.
Correct.
And I'm not gonna be an engineer or programmer anyway. So what? Do you? I mean, like in your day to day, do you still use like quadratic equations? Are you solving quadratic equations every day?
Heck
No.
no.
But then, like, if you want to learn and go back to learning it, you can still find out, and it's much
Yes,
faster.
that reminded me of a time I literally asked my math teacher during like IGCSE. I was like, I'm not gonna use the linear equation or the quadratic equation. Like, why do I have to learn it? He was like, he told me something I completely forgot about it now, just because it's been so long. Also, guys, that shows you what my age is. But it's also it was like what I left out took away from that during the moment was like, okay, there was wisdom behind the saying, and it was like, I think it was something similar to something in lines that you were saying as well,
Hmm.
basically.
But then now think about this. What if you were to learn math in the most basic form? Like what? Okay, this is like what I'm always curious about. Like what?
Yeah.
How would you teach math when someone is not interested with math? They always like, why is math important? I've always like wondered
Yeah.
how to express that. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if this is the best way to express it, but imagine you using English to express all your mathematical equations.
How is that gonna work? That's gonna be so like that. No, that would be messy as heck, bro.
Yeah. So that it's a nightmare, right? So
Yeah.
when you understand this, actually I come to a point that I realize that actually math is a language in itself because its role is to
Mm.
simplify overcomplicated English that you do not want to learn. And in order for us to solve the hardest equations in life, we need to express it in a simpler way so that we can,
Mm.
with our limited brain power, we're able to work with it and set rules and boundaries to work with it. That's the
Mm.
purpose of
Mm.
math.
Mm. Interesting.
Yeah. Might not be the best way to express it, but this is like what I've come to find out.
Yeah. And you probably already touched on this previously, but how do you think you, as a teacher, how has that influenced you becoming a better magician? Has it made you a better magician? Because from what you were saying previously, there was like the core theme of like you doing both is how you communicate to your audience. So do you
Hmm.
think that you're a better teacher because of magic, and also do you think that you're a better magician because of teaching as well, and that is also another comparative advantage that you have over, yeah, anyone else, because that's just like how your life is right now.
I do feel like there's a symbiotic relationship.
Mm, mm,
So, symbiotic in a sense. Magic is about making the impossible possible.
mm, mm, mm,
That's like performative magic. But if you want to
mm.
talk about magic in real life,
Yeah.
is to get someone motivated to do something. So sometimes when I see my students not motivated, I find simple ways to motivate them to do what they need to do or what they want
Yeah.
to do. Or remind them
Yeah.
on why they want to do this. And to be able
Gotcha.
to inspire the students or inspire people to love learning, I think that's probably the best way to exemplify magic. Because
Okay.
if you watch people's magic performance, or at least like the magic performance for most magicians, it's always about the message they want to show to the world. And
Yeah.
sometimes that message would motivate you
Mm,
to get to do something to really go out there and achieve more in life.
mm, mm,
And I think it's the same role as a teacher. You want your students to do well. You want to impart knowledge for them so that they can succeed in their own way. Even though if
mm,
they're not going to be interested in learning math, but you want to impart life skills, the grit, the tenacity
mm.
to always keep moving on
Mm.
keep going forward so that no matter what happens, you will go out there and get things done for yourself, not for anyone else.
Nice, nice. I love that. I love that. Wow. I mean, I am slightly jealous of the students who will get to be your students in your classes because I feel like you'll be such a cool teacher to have, man. This is already a teaching session for me anyway, so thank you for your time. But I want to touch a bit more on the magic side of things. So
Mm.
imagine, I don't know if you've already had some people already asking you this, but say someone comes over to you and say, "Hey, Vicente, I am thinking of starting magic. Like, how would you recommend I start? Or how would you recommend someone wants to start if they've already been thinking about it, but they just don't know, like, the right system, the right methodology to get started?"
Maybe I share how I get started first.
Yeah, sure, sure.
I got started because a friend basically taught me a few things.
Mm,
Then how I improve along the way, YouTube. Nowadays,
mm,
actually nowadays you can see a lot of people exposing magic online.
mm.
But sometimes a lot of people they know how it's done, but they don't start trying to do what they show on YouTube. And that's the
True.
difference between being a magician and being a spectator.
Yes. Oof.
Because yeah, because like if you want to be a magician, just try. You'll fail. You will fail.
Yeah.
I've failed many times. But what
Yeah.
makes a magician is in that moments of failure, you find
Yeah.
a way to recover and make the spectator feel like it's still magic in itself.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
sometimes the spectator doesn't know that you have failed the trick,
Yeah.
and then
True.
you just make it like it's part of the act, and if you can make
Yes.
something out of it, it's even more amazing. To be honest,
Interesting.
when I performed the magic trick to you guys, did you know I failed? Did you
I
figure it
couldn't tell, man.
out? But I
Which
managed
part?
to say like we're gonna solve with the mind, but then no, I'm gonna show you how it's solved properly first.
Right, right, right. Ah,
But
okay.
it's
What
about
the
like
heck?
knowing what's a good way to tell people like, hey, it's still part of the act. We're just trying
Mm.
something out, but it's still magic, and you guys still had a good
Yeah.
time. I even
Damn.
failed during my competition. But what most magicians appreciate is like in those moments of failure, how do I
Yeah.
recover? I
Yeah.
think that's
Okay.
really hard for I think that's probably one of the harder things to do. It's like like when you write out the script and like how are you gonna do your magic, sometimes you write out.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then like when things doesn't go according to plan, like, oh no, what to do? If you, and I mean like if you're in the performance industry, there's this
Mm.
saying that says like the show must go on. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
find a
Mm-hmm.
way to really like entertain people. And I think what
Mm.
separates like an entertainer from a good entertainer is the good entertainer knows what to do to make sure that the show still happens no matter what comes along their way.
Damn.
I do know of magicians, right? There was
Yeah.
one guy. He told me that he got struck by a no. He was cycling, but then like he had a very bad accident, and
Mm.
he needed to go to the hospital to get stitches. But then he told the
Oh
doctor,
shit.
"I still need to go. Why? Because there's a child that needs me to perform magic to make it magical for his birthday. I cannot be the missing
Oh.
magician when the child wants a magician for their birthday. So even though
Wow.
his feet struggled, he still went for the child's birthday and performed magic.
That's great.
So yeah, the show must go on. And I think if you're in this profession, I mean like the parents hire the magician because they want their kids to have a good time. You don't want to be the
Yeah.
person that says like, hey, no magician, sorry. Imagine the
Yeah.
disappointment of that kid. Most of us
True.
cannot handle it. And
Yeah. Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
I'll tell you the name of the magician. His name is Tommy Ken, and when he shared the story, it's like, wow, he
That
is
huge respect,
yeah.
man, Tommy.
I mean, like, yeah, the way he approaches is like, I salute him.
Yeah.
And ever since I heard that, I thought, like, when I fail a trick on the spot,
Mm.
how can I make this a memorable moment for the kid or some a learning lessons for the kid? And sometimes the
Yeah. Yeah.
kids
Yeah.
can't even tell that I made a mistake. They think it's even like better sometimes,
Yeah. Yeah.
or
True.
they have a good laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
Eh,
not like I think the most important thing for a magician is not
yeah.
you are magic. It's you make them
Yeah.
feel that they are magic.
Okay, that's strong. Going back to what you said about YouTube videos, like, were there any specific channels that you started out watching first? Like, are there some, like, I don't know, academy or something, or is it just more of you typing famous magicians like David Copperfield, David Blaine, etc., and then you just watch the way that they were doing things, and then that's how you start
Ah.
learning, practicing from there? Or...
I mean, like most magicians, they start out with cards. So And
Yeah.
back in the days, it just put simple card magic, and there are just tons of channels. Nowadays, like there's loads of channels that do it. I mean, like
Mm.
I'm not sure if the channels I used to watch are still active. I can name a
Right.
few: like Disturb Reality and 52 Cards. I think some, if you were into magic back then, you probably know them.
Okay. Okay. If you know, you
Nowadays,
know.
yeah, but then like nowadays, like you see, you scroll through Instagram. Like, okay, I'm not sure like what's your Instagram feed looks like, but if I scroll
Yeah.
through Instagram, because I watch a lot of magic videos, I always see people like revealing the magic tricks. Then like you learn
Okay.
how the trick is done, and sometimes you
Yeah.
know how it's done. But
Mm.
but the funny thing is, even though some people know how it's done,
Mm.
if the magician is skilled enough, even though you know how it's done, you can still perform the same trick to them, and they won't even know how the method is done
Interesting.
because
Okay.
you've done it so well such that they are bamboozled.
Yeah. It's. I feel like magic is like a mixture of science and art. Like, would you agree?
The science is the mechanics of doing things, but the art is
Yes.
how you relate with people, how
How
you
you
play
portray,
with
right?
their psychology, their attention, how you manage their
Yes.
attention. Cause like
Yes. Yes.
okay, everyone knows about the palm, the pass, or like certain magical moves. So
Mm.
most magicians say, "Can I see your?" For example, the pass, a pass, right? They want to show it in the quickest way possible. People think it's the quickest way possible, but no. The
Mm.
best magicians, right, will know how to control your attention and say, and then they'll ask like,
Mm.
"But I didn't see this move that you did." That's the whole
Mm.
point. And now because like everything is recorded,
Mm.
some magicians tend to. Now I remember another magician that I look up to, Gregory Wilson. So
Gregory Weston.
Gregory Wilson. So he calls
Wilson.
himself as the golf magician now. So what
Right.
he does is like he doesn't care if his the secrets behind his magic is revealed because that's the point of
Mm.
his video. People sometimes like when people think you get fooled by this trick, ha ha, you're a noob or you might be stupid. But the idea is it's about being in that moment when
Mm.
you're able to connect and manipulate their attention. Even the simplest action can look so innocent that you can't see it's happening right under your nose. I can even do it in front of your face, that secret move, and you still wouldn't notice it. If you watch Gregory Wilson's video,
Okay.
we'll see a lot of people comment, "Oh, I found out how it's done. These guys are stupid." But then they miss the entire point of the video because like he wants you to know that sometimes magic happens because you're able to connect and control at that point, such that even the
Mm.
simplest, subtlest action can mean the
Mm.
difference between magic and a trick.
Interesting. Okay. So okay. So I'm like learning a lot of things right now, and imagine like I'm, let's say tomorrow, right? I wanna just like start doing magic. So what I'm hearing from you is that like, okay, if simplest way to start is that watch a lot of like the card tricks on like YouTube, and then that's the, in a way, to nail the methodology of things. But then I guess going the depth level deeper, which is the crowd work, the psychology, like I'm sure there's loads of like videos that touches on it as well. But then I guess in actual practice, the main thing to get the real experience is just to really just try, I
Yeah.
assume, with friends, your family. And then after that, if you're brave enough, then you go out and in public. Would you say that is like the blueprint for like the best lo-fi way to start magic?
Dude, there are people who just like, I learned this new trick, just go out and like, let's see what happens. They even film it, and sometimes they get famous from it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
like, okay, sometimes like the best magic trick is like knowing how to do the best sleight of hand, but
Yeah.
being able to is being a good storyteller.
Mm.
And like it's you can't really get that when you're just like learning how to, okay, this move over and over again. There's this joke in
Mm.
the magic community, "Oh, I need to learn this move. Okay, I show you how it's done one time, go and practice
Mm.
it 1,000 times." But I mean, if you're a beginner magician, that you would encounter is that when you do that move, it feels very unnatural because you're doing it for the first time. So you want to
Yes.
get the mechanics right. So if you want to get
Yeah.
started with magic, do the simpler ones that require less sleight of hand but work on the
Right.
presentation. There are a lot of tricks
Okay.
out there. You can look for self-working tricks. Sometimes you can
Okay.
do it with a rubber band. Sometimes you can
Yeah.
do it with a lot of everyday objects. Just that it might be magic that people might know,
Yes.
but that's fine. It's part of training.
Mm. Mm.
And knowing how to manage these people is also another skill set of being a magician. And the better magicians come up with ways on how to deal with them so that they
Yeah.
themselves will be amazed as well, or everyone will have a good time too.
Nice. Nice.
The most important part is when you're faced with a challenge, you have two options. One, give
Mm.
up. Or two, find a way to make the best out of it so that you learn something and everyone has a good time.
True. Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly. Um. Then, in the spirit of everyone having a good time, we're going to go into a favorite quick fire round that I like to ask all my guests. There's a series of maybe 5 questions, random questions, by the way, and then we're very interested to hear what you're gonna say. So, first one, what is your favorite city to visit and why?
Wow. Wow. Actually, if I were, the first thing that comes to mind was Manila. Manila.
Mm, mm.
That's my hometown. I haven't been back for the past 2 years because I've been hustling for a very long time.
Yeah.
So I haven't seen my family for quite some time, and there are friends back there who I wish to meet, and I know who wish to meet me. And I
Yeah,
think
yeah,
this
yeah.
would be quite good to say hi to my family again.
Yeah. Are you gonna go home soon?
I did make a promise to myself this year. I'm gonna be back. Just
Okay.
a question
Nice.
of when. Most likely is when
Okay.
after my students' exams are done. Then
Yeah.
the
Because you have
manager,
like
okay, pause.
yeah, yeah. Because you said what June to December is when you have like more free time, right?
June and December. Well, now it's near June, but I don't think I'm gonna go back in June. There's a lot of things still
Okay.
happening.
Right. Okay.
But
Nice.
commitment. Before the end of the year, I will be back home, and I've already told that to
Hell
my
yeah.
parents. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. No, that's great, man. Moving on. Favorite movie.
Favorite movie, go-to movie, but the one that pops up to mind right now is Mugen Train Demon Slayer. Probably is the
Yeah,
most
dude.
recent. Yeah, it's the
Fair
most
enough.
recent one I watched. But
Fair enough.
still,
Yeah.
I mean, animation is good. It's an emotional story, and it's about someone
Yes.
who, yeah, overcoming odds against all
Yeah.
odds, and you
Yep.
get to see like
Rengoku.
Tanjiro growing up to
Exactly.
become the Demon Slayer to really kill Muzan.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Dude, that fight scene between Kyojiro and Akaza, goated, bro. Honestly. And favorite food to
Char
eat.
Kway Teow.
Char Kway Teow. Really? Do they have good Char Kway Teow in Singapore?
Well, it's my first time I got a taste of char kway teow is in Singapore. Actually, now that I think about it, I've always had this favorite food. I think it's now char kway teow because influenced by Singapore, but I like shrimp
Yeah.
tempura.
Okay.
So
Okay.
here's the funny thing: I'm
Mm.
allergic to shrimp, but I
Oh my
like shrimp
gosh.
tempura. There's a caveat. There's
Okay.
a caveat. It needs to be fresh shrimp. If not, my ears will itch. And there's now it
Uh,
reminds me of like there's this place in the Philippines. This is very
yeah.
interesting. Cause imagine a wet market. You can
Yeah.
buy all the freshest things you can, live seafood.
Mm.
And then beside the fresh market are restaurants that offer to cook all those things you bought from the wet market.
Mm,
There's a
mm,
restaurant
mm.
there in the Philippines, and I miss that restaurant because we usually buy 1 kilogram of shrimp, another
Yeah.
kilogram of shrimp, go and cook tempura.
Nice.
Yeah, it's gonna be full of cholesterol, but heck yeah.
What's the name of the restaurant, by the way?
No. I think it's called. Okay, we call it dampa. So it's
Dampa.
a location. There's a lot of restaurants there. Usually, I go to
Okay.
this restaurant called Trinidad. It's
Grenada.
near the
Okay.
airport, next to near Mall of Asia. That area.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
you can probably Google it when you're in the Philippines, and then like yeah, you can try like buying fresh seafood and cooking it on the spot.
Yeah, dude, that'd be so cool.
I've had uncles from US and friends from Singapore visit, and we always bring them there, and they love eating the fresh fish. If it's not the
Yeah.
shrimp, it's the fish from Philippine
Nice.
waters.
Okay. Born and bred. Love that.
Yeah,
um, favorite song?
favorite song. Now, because of Coachella, somehow I became like a Justin Bieber fan. I like his
Yeah.
Beauty and the Beat.
Oh yeah, so good, bro.
I mean, like I didn't appreciate Justin Bieber when I was younger because like
Yeah.
everyone was raving about him, but now that like I got to know him better after Coachella, it
Yeah.
gives a different spin to it.
Yeah, and like his performance was like, I don't know. There's two different camps I'm seeing in terms of reactions to his performance. The one camp is like, wow, this guy is literally like flipping the script on performing, especially in Coachella in a big stage where he literally just put responding to whatever the fans want and putting out on YouTube, and then it's like a whole performance with his fans. On the other hand,
Mhm.
it's just like, what the heck is this guy doing? Like, like we paid so much money and it's just like on his laptop. I think I was really impressed with the way that he did it, but I wish I saw it. But my friend was in Coachella, so he was like, it was good.
He loved it. Is it?
Yeah, he loved it. He loved it.
Oh. Okay. I'm leaning towards the side where in like I love whatever he's doing. Anyway, he's the artist. You trust the artist to
Exactly.
do what he wants. If you don't want
Exactly.
it, then don't pay to go for a show. I think he's cool
Exactly.
with that. I think for
Exactly.
us, I mean, like as a magician as well,
Yeah.
there's a certain act that I want to show. If you don't like it,
Mm,
then too bad. But this is my message to the world, and if you
yeah.
don't agree with it, then it's fine. I think that's
Yeah.
something that's important for artists because every
Mm,
artist has a message they want to share. and you can't please
Yes.
everyone.
True.
It's
True.
important to express yourself for who you are and
Mm.
gather the community that you want to form so you
Mm.
can really build something that is truly yours and not someone else's.
Mm. I think that that's a really good message, and I feel like that would resonate with like a lot of creatives, especially who are just trying to. Yeah, I feel like because I think like when you're in the creative field, it's like it can be really hard to maybe get into the momentum of something, especially if you're not within a community. And I think once you find that community, there's some level of like relatability and accountability. And what am I doing rhyming now? But you know what I mean. It's
Yes.
just like yeah. So I think it's just that encouraging environment, which is good. Last question for the quick fire. Favorite quote.
Wow. There's this quote. I have a few favorite quotes, but I remembered like the first time I did magic for to get people to join my club. It was for a school presentation.
Mm.
And actually I didn't mean to get it into my club, but I just thought that what would be good to really communicate a topic in science.
Mm.
Then like I actually perform magic to really communicate like what's the main idea behind like chemical bonding of chemistry.
Ah, okay.
And this is a quote from Albert Einstein. It's not about knowing, it's about understanding. Two
Dope.
different, but makes a
Yeah.
world of difference. Funny thing is, after I mentioned that quote, someone asked me, "How did you do that magic trick?" I want to understand.
Ah.
So I understand that they want to know,
Yeah.
but as a magician, there's a price to knowing that knowledge. So I told them,
Yes.
if you really want to find out, join my magic club. So I want,
Yo.
but I didn't, because I want myself to see if you're committed to learning that knowledge and preserving it.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
Gotcha. You know what's interesting is like throughout this whole conversation that we've been having, like that quote kind of encapsulates the whole theme of like what you've been pretty much saying that's consistent throughout all this time. It's like basically, understand knowledge. And by you choosing to understand, that means you're connecting with actually trying to learning how something is done, how something is taught. Um and that's just something that's like wonderful to me. During the moment you said that, I was like, huh, okay. It's feel like it pretty much just like describe it shows in who you are, how you conduct yourself as well. So that's awesome.
So I'll just share something a bit more interesting. So like the understanding part, that
Mm,
was me ever since I was young. But there were
mm,
times in life where I don't feel success
mm,
because curiosity is not just enough. That's been my whole
mm,
message in life. 2 years back, I met a mentor,
mm,
and there was this quote that I didn't understand at first, but struck me.
mm.
It takes courage to choose courage, and I didn't really
Takes courage.
understood what that meant. But after 2 years of like going through life and like having been mentored by him, I realized what it really means to. It takes courage to choose courage
Mm.
because curiosity is not just enough. Acting on
Yeah.
that curiosity and doubling down on what you need to do, that
Yes.
is
True.
courage. And I
True.
learned, and in that time we met during that
Yeah.
chess tournament,
Yeah.
there were a lot of times that I can sacrifice. Typical me would like, oh no, I just stayed safe. No.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
then there was one point I just said like, okay, let me try just sacrificing this piece and
Yeah.
let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that
Yeah. Yeah.
actually
Yeah.
unlocks the next level from you being an amateur to start
Yeah.
learning and advancing through the ranks in chess. So it's
True.
important not just to like, okay, I know this, I'm curious about this, but act on that knowledge and curiosity. So
Mm,
probably at
mm,
this segment, I would want to thank that mentor who actually shared that quote to me. Actually, his name is like
mm,
Han Ming Kwang. And I don't think I'd be living the life I'm living right now if I hadn't met him. Yes, the time when I
mm,
met him was the time I switched from being stuck in an IT job to performing to not just performing magic but to also venture into teaching and performing magic. And
wow.
I feel like I'm living the life I've wanted to live.
Ah, that's great, man. I'm so happy that you managed to get to the stage where you're really happy with where you are at in life. Yeah, like to your point, you're living the life that you want to live as well, and also the fact that you've found a mentor that was able to guide you throughout the way and just show you what's possible.
Yeah.
I guess what I want to follow up on is how important is it to find a mentor to you?
There are times in life wherein like at least for me at that point before I found him, there were times in life where I felt like I'm doing a lot of things. Why is it not progressing?
Mm,
A
mm,
mentor, the right mentor,
mm,
is not afraid to tell you, "Hey, this is what you're doing wrong," and for you to understand that this is what's keeping you stuck, and this is what you need to see to get to the next phase of life, even though if you'll be offended. So it's really important to get a mentor, especially a mentor who dares to tell you what you don't want to see. Because what you
Yeah.
don't want to see actually is the reason why you're not progressing to the next phase of your life and to achieving more in life.
Damn. That's strong.
Yeah. If you look at my life right now, 997, people think no work life balance. I
Yep.
would say it's about work life integration
I think
because
you
it
did talk
adds
about
another
this.
meaning for it.
Yeah,
And if you really want to get that work life integration, there's a lot of hard work that goes behind it.
for
It's
sure.
whether you choose to have it or not. The
Mm.
choice won't be easy, but again, it takes courage to choose courage.
Damn, bro, you're so smooth, bro. I love that. We are coming to the end of the episode, and I got two final questions to ask. The first one is, what does locking in mean to you?
Down on your dreams and just okay, and you gamble, right? When
Yeah,
people think that, okay, it's either a make or break. If I
yeah.
don't win this, I'm gonna die.
Mm,
If I lose, I'm gonna die anyway. All
mm,
in. But you all in to yourself. And you really need to know if it's really yourself or
mm,
someone's idea that is implanted on you. Only you
mm,
know who yourself is. The right mentor can help you find out which parts that are not you and which parts
mm,
who are you. And once you're able to do that, when you all in, it'll be really all into you and not
mm.
some parts to you and some parts to because a dream that someone else crafted for you.
Yeah. That. Okay, that's good. That's good. And final question. What's next for you, Vicente? Anything exciting coming up, like with teaching, with magic? Like what can people look out for?
Wow. Funnily enough, actually, in the international school, I just tendered my resignation.
Wow. Okay.
So I have a 2 months notice. I'm not sure, depending on when this podcast will release. I hope my students don't see it by then. But I'll probably tell them by then.
Okay.
But I mean, like, I want to build my own school. And that's why I decided
Yes.
that it's time for me to move on to the next phase.
Wow.
And I want to integrate my love for magic and love for learning so that people can really get to the heart of learning. Because right now, if you
Yeah.
look at society,
Yeah.
what's the purpose of schools?
Honestly, just to fit all the kids in somewhere so that the parents can work. I don't know.
There's that,
Yeah.
yes. But the way that governments and society look at it is
Mm.
to be able to nurture people so that they can be hired as suitable employees for corporations to work.
Yes. Yeah. That is the correct answer. Yeah. My thinking is like completely derailed, bro.
Hey, it's also valid. Actually, like
Yeah.
that might be like one of the reasons why, and it's important to for me to have a look out for it.
Yeah.
But now that role is being replaced by AI.
Yes.
And I think a lot of governments are scrambling to find out like what's the best way to deal with this. And I
Mm.
honestly hope that I can provide a more suitable solution so that in this age of AI,
Mm.
what's next for the human race and
Mm.
what's next for what learning would look like for all of us.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
we're gonna revolutionize the whole education system if we have to.
Love that. Is that the goal to revolutionize the
That's
whole
my goal.
education
That's
system?
my end
Nice.
goal.
Hell yeah, bro. You guys heard it
Learning
here
from
first.
first principles. Sorry?
I was just gonna say you guys heard it here first. Like Vicente is gonna revolutionize the education system. Fucking love that. And wait, you said sorry. Building from focusing on first principles.
Learning from
That's how
first
you
principles.
learning from first principles.
Like when I
Nice.
shared you about learning math, what is it about?
Yeah.
So you kind of understood like why math is important now. But it's whether
Mm,
now decision is on you whether you want to continue learning it or put it off for another time. I think
yeah.
it's important for people to have that agency in learning, so they can take responsibility of what they can do in their life and what they can't do in their life or what they choose
Yeah.
not to do.
Yes. True. And for anyone who wants to reach out to you, Vicente, like, how can they reach out to you?
I think probably the best way is Instagram.
Okay.
I have a few accounts, but I suppose you can find me. Okay, you can. My email is actually quite easy to find. It's
Okay.
VICE.
Uh huh. Okay. Nice.
Or actually, you know what? Easiest way, you can Google my name. Type Vicente Tanqueco the Third. You can probably find me. That's how my students found my socials.
Nice.
If you find
Nice.
any other Vicente, that's probably
Yeah.
my grandfather or my father.
Damn. Okay.
I am the
And that makes
third.
sense because you're number third. Yeah. You're the third.
I
Wow.
don't think a lot of people have my surname. My surname is actually quite rare. My dad was the first one with the Tangpeco surname
Okay.
because when we're Chinese, so we naturalized in the Philippines, and he's the first Tangpeco.
Damn. And yeah, guys, I'm gonna put like all of Vicente's links in the episode when it all comes out anyway. So anyone wants to reach out to him about like teaching or magic as well. Yeah, hope you don't mind people reaching out, but
Yeah.
we'll see.
Okay. The thing is, like, if we're not open to connection,
Yeah,
that's when we're closed off to anything that life has to offer for us. So why not, right?
yeah,
Hey, if
that's true though.
you have a mission to really like change and revolutionize the entire education system, you can't do it
Yeah,
alone. No man's an
yeah,
island.
yeah. That is true. That is true. And I think that resonates with me as well. Like for me, like this, the reason why I'm doing this is to really showcase to people that hey, like it's possible to balance your full time job, even your side hustles with something creative that you are building. Learn from the people that are actually doing these different types of things, and then the second degree of that is just freaking start doing it and take some like learnings from like how people have structured it, and then yeah, if you build something for yourself and you can hold on to it, then no one can take that away from you, and you could actually use it in conversations, in interviews. Dude, I don't know if I told you, but like I was talking about my podcast a lot in some interviews that I've been in. What the heck? And like it's crazy. Yeah, that's yeah. So back to my point, really resonates with what you're mentioning about the mission.
So back to your point on like building this platform for people to build awareness for people to find out that it's possible to do this. Why don't,
Yes.
as a challenge to the viewers, to your viewers, why don't you
Okay.
time yourself on the number of times that you made excuses. See how long
Ooh.
it goes. That's the amount of time you can use to actually get started and start building on something.
Okay.
I hope that will
Okay.
get you motivated. And when you see that, when you see the results for yourself, the results speaks for
Yeah.
itself. And it's whether you
Okay.
continue to choose to make those excuses or
Yeah.
choose to do something with it.
Ooh. Okay. Wow.
What a way to get motivated, right?
Yeah, that's pretty good. I like that. I like that. It's also like a challenge as well. Like I want to see how if any brave souls feel like challenge and they want to take it on. In my mind, I'm kind of thinking like, okay, how would that logistically work? But like, we'll get there. We'll get there. That is so cool. What the fuck? Like, you're like the first guest to like issue a challenge. I love it. And on
Hey, you
that note,
can't grow
guys,
without a challenge, right?
that is
And
true.
life is all
That is
about
true.
growing.
That is true. And on that note, guys, thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you reached all the way till this part, usual YouTube stuff, like, comment, subscribe, follow, whatever, Like I said, Vicente's links are all in where you're watching this or tuning into this. And thank you so much, Vicente, for hopping on. I really appreciate, the chat. This has been so great, honestly. And I love the everything from start to finish and you just dropping the ball with the challenge. And I will, guys, stay tuned for the next one. I will see you guys soon, and bye.
Bye.